It's the rule of nerds.
And this is our non-spoiler review of the new Wolverine movie, Logan.
All right, so first up, the main thing that we need to clear is that Logan, the movie, is not the same as Old Man Logan, the comic book. Although that is the inspiration, and we have a literal Old Man Logan, it has nothing to do with the graphic novel / story arc.
There are some similarities, like in the books, the story is set in a dystopian future with an older Wolverine with diminished healing powers, and he has to go on a road trip, and that's a good place to stop because that's really where the similarities end. You know, in the books, you can see characters from around the Marvel universe, but since these are the movies, Fox owns the rights to the X-Men and all the other mutants, but not the MCU characters. Don't expect to see Hawkeye, Red Skull, or the Hulk here.
Children.
Yeah, you're gonna see none of that. Instead, you're gonna see characters from the X universe, like Professor X and X-23, step into big roles in the story.
All right, and of course, I guess it needs to be said, Logan is not just a great superhero movie, it's a great movie, period. It's awesome. And, it's not your typical superhero movie. In fact, I wouldn't even call it an action movie. I would consider this a drama that happens to have really awesome action sequences. And you know how usually when you have an X-Men movie or maybe an Avengers movie, you have a lot of really cool characters, cool superheroes with awesome epic battle scenes. Here you only have 3. And stripped of their spandex, stripped of a lot of their usual superpowers, and yet we love them so much more for it. So it's so different from your usual superhero-based movie.
Actually, if you saw those first Logan trailers late last year when they first released, those were some amazing trailers set to the Johnny Cash version of the song Hurt. It really promised this tragic, character-driven piece that it totally delivered on in the movie. You have Logan, who is, like we said earlier, has his healing powers diminished. You've got Professor X, Charles Xavier. They call him the world's biggest brain, the world's best brain, but he's suffering from brain disease.
Right.
So you see them as totally different characters from what you're used to in the main X-Men franchise. But man, does it make for a great character-driven story.
And another thing that I really loved about this movie is that it was a true standalone film. In the age of cinematic universes, it is so refreshing to see, a movie that has the balls to be a standalone film in the truest sense of the word. I'm not saying that it won't fit into the X-Men cinematic universe. I'm sure there's a way to sew it together, but that is not the point. The point is you don't feel it. Don't get me wrong. I love the MCU to death. It's just that sometimes you feel like the individual movies are all slaves to the bigger Thanos narrative, that sometimes it works to its advantage, but sometimes you feel like it's suffering. The individual films are suffering because everyone's making sure, okay, we're doing this to a bigger end. Here, it's like prequels, sequels be damned. We have a story to tell, and we're going to tell it no matter how easily or how difficult it will fit in to the bigger cinematic universe, which I think to begin with, the X-Men aren't as anal about it as the MCU is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really not like the Fox has been very strict with their continuity.
No, not at all.
They've had reboots, they've had They've had you remember Deadpool in the original Wolverine Origins movie, which that's a terrible movie. But yeah, it's true. It works as a standalone movie, so it has a lot of advantages.
Yeah.
By being a standalone movie, it gets to tell the exact story that it wants to tell and not really have to follow the rules of the other movies. This was hinted at in an earlier interview by Hugh Jackman. He actually kind of says that not only does this movie has its own tone and timeline, it may be part of a different universe altogether.
Right.
Which makes sense because even in the context of the books, Old Man Logan, the book, is a kind of an alternate universe and not really the main timeline of the Marvel continuity. So you can say that it's a possible future of the characters in the main X-Men franchise, but I wouldn't say that their futures are set in stone because it's kind of a bleak future for the mutants.
Yeah, but what I like about it is that it doesn't matter. Like there's no such thing as, okay, if it follows the usual timeline, then this is great. If it doesn't, then it's not. The point of the movie is that whether it's an alternate universe or it is the eventual future of the X-Men CU, it doesn't matter because it's a great film. And another thing that I really enjoyed about the movie is how violent it is. Not because of my bloodlust, but, Logan, the movie, is every bit as violent as Logan, the character, which I think how it should have been from the very start. I think the success of Deadpool as an R-rated film gave them the assurance that, yes, we can be violent the way Wolverine is violent. Not in the same way that, let's say, the big Avengers, X-Men movies, where you have entire buildings falling down, and somehow you have the antiseptic feeling that an entire building fell, but nobody died. But with this one, there aren't as many deaths, but you feel each death. It's not the cinematic death. It's the ugly, you can almost smell the rust of the blood kind of death. So I like it because this is how it's supposed to be. In the comic books, it's this graphic. It's this violent.
And
that's
such
Wolverine.
Such a perfect fit for the Wolverine
Exactly.
character itself. Because, he has the healing ability, but literally one of this guy's powers is he has knives on his hands.
Yes.
Like all of the other X-Men, like with Cyclops and his optic blast, you can kind of be vague about what the effect of that kind of power is. Wolverine stabs people with his hand knives, right? So he's always belonged in an R-rated universe.
That's true.
And to your point about having deaths in this movie, which seem a lot more real than in MCU and other kinds of superhero movies. I think that's one of the things that really worked for it as a standalone movie. If you're part of a greater shared universe, everything you do in your movie has an effect on the other movies. But Wolverine, Logan, they set it in the future, farther than any of the other X-Men movies we've seen so far, and because they set it in the future, it's really a standalone, and they can do whatever they want and just tell the story that they want to tell.
That's right. And let's just now go into the performances. It's ridiculous how good the three leads are. As opposed to the other superhero movies, with this one, it only centers on three characters, but believe me, those three characters will trump any team anytime in terms of performances. I don't need to tell you that Hugh Jackman was great, but what the big surprise for me is that Patrick Stewart, not that I don't expect him to be good, but that for me at least, he stole most of the scenes that he was in. And even when I found out, when watching the trailers that, oh, okay, Professor X will be here, Charles will be here, I just didn't expect that he would play such an interesting, crucial, pivotal role in the movie. And these two actors just delivered two of their best performances in their careers, not just as superheroes, as Professor X and Wolverine, but as actors, they were incredible. And the new X-23, Daphne Keane, was amazing. Obviously, she's a newcomer, but perfect pitch. I was a little scared at first that they chose somebody so young as X-23, when in the comic books she's a little older, but I love her. Like, she would be scary and lovable at the same time, which is, I think, how X-23 should be.
Hugh Jackman had already stated before the movie that this will be his last performance as the Wolverine character. Patrick Stewart has also said that this is his last X-Men movie, and what a way for these actors to bow out of these iconic roles. Hugh Jackman, this franchise started in the year 2000. So it's been 17 years since it started. Hugh Jackman, there are 10 installments. This is the 10th installment in the X-Men universe. And Hugh Jackman has either appeared in as a star or has cameoed in 9 of those movies. The one exception being Deadpool, where his face at least makes an appearance as a creepy mask that Deadpool wears under his regular mask. Don't ask, just watch the movie. So, I mean, after 17 years and 9 movies for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, he deserves to bow out of this role with a great performance. And I think he really got that here. This is such a great place to end it for him.
All right, so basically what we're trying to say is that we have to echo a sentiment that everyone has been saying, from the fanboys to the movie critics to everyone who's seen the movie so far. Logan is the Wolverine movie that we have all been waiting for. And I think Logan, the movie, is also what an actor, Hugh Jackman's talents, really deserved from the very start. So I just find it ironic that, it wasn't the X-Men Wolverine who delivered the goods, but it was Logan, the human inside the mutant, who finally delivered in the end.
I think that's all we have to say about this movie.
Loved it.
But we want to hear what you think about the movie. Let us know. Is this a good place for Hugh Jackman to end his career as Wolverine? Or do you still want to see him make like a goofier cameo in Deadpool 2? Let us know in the comments.
All right, so we would like to invite everyone to please subscribe to our channel, The Rule of Nerds, and also follow us on our social media accounts, The Rule of Nerds on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as for our personal accounts, you can follow me at Chico Garcia on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter,
and you can follow me at JM_Bolante on Instagram and M_Bolante on Twitter. Nerds out!